All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
Half of Trump supporters do what I call activist support.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Seeks or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
Handle the truth.
I remember that with Matthew Moses. We are still here!
We have to say yes to social justice.
Let you know tomorrow. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Well. Welcome to 2019 AntiNews. First episode of the year, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you know something's missing here. Just a little something called Craig. Craig is not here tonight. That's right, I'm flying solo for the first time on the AntiNews because, we had some scheduling issues. Craig was supposed to be here tonight. He had some classes that ended up going later than expected. And last night we were supposed to do it then, but I ended up not being available last night for one reason or another. But long story short, I wanted to make sure that you guys still were able to be kept up to date on what's happening in the world. So if you're new here, welcome to the AntiNews, the place where we drink the drinks and smoke the smokes and chat about all the things that are going on in the world. So it might be a short one tonight. I don't really know how this is going to go, but I still wanted to make sure you got something for the week so that you're not just, flying blindly or into the void of darkness that is life, or going out to the actual news sources and going through that. The point of this show is I look through some news stories and give you what I think is important and make some jokes about it. Craig typically is here too, doing the same, but we do that so you don't have to. And so we're just gonna, scroll through a couple things that I think are important to talk about and see what happens. There's not going to be any banter tonight, so there might be some dead air. I might just say something and wait for a response. I should have queued up a clap track or a laugh track or something whenever I make a bad joke. Basically, I'm talking to a wall and a camera right now, but hopefully you guys enjoy it anyway. Hopefully it helps you get through your week and stay informed and entertained. So we're just going to have to jump right into the news because, there's no reason in talking about the weekend. I suppose I could tell you what I did over the weekend. By the weekend, I mean, man, the days are so screwed up. Having Christmas and New Year's in the middle of the week is very confusing. Every time it's over, it feels like Monday, even though it's, Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. I had some good quality time with some family and friends, hanging out and playing some games and drinking some drinks for the new year, and it was a lot of fun. And that's about it. Not a lot to report, and no reason to go back and forth on that. So let's just jump into the news thing that we're here for. First and foremost, of course, we got to talk about Pocahontas for president, the wonderful Elizabeth Warren, who has announced that she is going to be running for president in 2020, and that is almost... I'm not even going to bother reading through the story on this one. I just find it to be exciting, really exciting to think about Elizabeth Warren running for president against Donald Trump in 2020. Why? Because I think that she'll win? No. Because I think that she's got good points? No. because I'm a big Trump supporter? No, not at all. But because it will just be so entertaining to see what comes out of that. Just imagine all the things, all the jokes that are going to come out of If you're not familiar, she was claiming to be, part Native American and using it for sympathy votes, basically. And Trump encouraged her to take a test to find out, and she took a test and found out she's like 1,024th Native American. So laughable amounts of Native American in there. And he is going to have a whole lot of fun with that, which will be entertaining at the very least. So there's that. There is that. That will be fun. I am really excited to see who else steps into the ring, because it's just going to be another big shit show like it always is. And we'll be covering it right here on the AntiNews. In entertainment news this week, I found a lot of these just by scrolling down through Google News and pulled up some stuff. Haven't read through a lot of them, so we're gonna discover it together. In entertainment news, let's look at Star Wars news. This was, of course, recommended for me. It looks like there's some Reddit buzz, subreddit buzz of a leak of the new Star Wars movie title being, let's see here. Star Wars movie title. I lost it. It was something like, one second. Yeah, nobody's here to fill in the blanks either when I don't have anything to say, so that's fun. But it looks like there's rumors floating around that the new Star Wars is going to be titled Son of Darkness, which, I mean, obviously that would imply that it is going to be heavily focused on Kylo Ren. I don't know. I think that would be strange for them to call it Son of Darkness, since J.J. Abrams is coming back to produce and direct, and he did Star Trek Into Darkness. I mean, it's a rumor. It's a subreddit rumor, so who cares? It really has zero bearing, but throwing it out there so that if it actually happens to be true, I can be a little bit of a scoop for you on that. Star Wars, Son of Darkness. I don't know. And I know there's a lot of debate over the new Star Wars series, whether they hold up, whether they're good, all that fun stuff. I like them. I think they could be better, but there's no pleasing Star Wars fans anyway, as I've said many times on this show. If they had done Star Wars exactly the way it was in every Star Wars kid's brain, we'd still bitch about it. Because that's what we do. All right, moving right along. More entertainment news. This is coming from people.com, so People Magazine, so you know it's legit. This is the headline is Why Kim Kardashian and Kanye West Are Using a Different Gestational Surrogate for Baby Number 4. Huh. They have a surrogate mother for the first 3? I think they have 3, right? Looks like they have 3, yeah. Interesting. So we'll jump into this one. This might be interesting. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are on the surrogacy journey once more with a few tweaks. Namely, as a source tells People, their gestational carrier for baby number 4 on the way is not the same one they connected with for daughter Chicago, who turns 1 in January 15th. Since they had another embryo, Kim and Kanye always knew they wanted to try and implant that embryo too, the insider says. I didn't know that they were going that route with any of the others. This is news to me, but they hoped to work with the same gestational carrier, but it didn't work out this time. They are working with a second carrier now that is pregnant and will give birth in the spring. Everything so far has been smooth, the source continues. Just like the last time, Kim is very involved with the carrier. Kim goes to doctor's visits with the carrier and makes sure that she has everything she needs. She is a local woman with a family. Kim's OBGYN is overseeing her pregnancy. Okay? So did that say why they aren't having the same carrier? They're working with a second carrier now that is pregnant. Okay? It looks like that's the whole story. The source tells people that Kardashian West was surprised by how much she enjoyed the surrogacy process when she was expecting Chicago. After Chicago was born, Kim was very open about how much she loved that they used a gestational carrier, says the insider. Kim didn't really have another option since it was physically dangerous for her to carry another baby. Okay, the source goes on. But Kim was surprised how happy she was with everything. She loved the whole process and will always be very grateful to the carrier. Of course you loved the process. Of course it's way better than having it yourself. I mean, there is, of course, that bonding experience between the mother and her child if she forces the baby out of her vagina, but it has to carry it the whole time. That's interesting. I'm curious if there's like, I don't know, did she have the first two naturally? I don't know. I bet this probably says, maybe, I don't know. But I'm curious if there's like the same emotional bond between them. But of course, you're going to enjoy it way more watching somebody else go through the shitty part. And you're going to be really appreciative that they did it. Because you get all the good stuff. You get to sit around and, I don't know, drink alcohol and do all the fun party life that I'm guessing Kim Kardashian West does. And not have to worry about it until the time comes. And then she's got somebody else to take care of the kid after that, I'm sure. Because they're busy people, I would imagine. Continuing on, people confirmed Wednesday that Kardashian West 38 and Kanye West 41 would be adding a sixth member to their family that includes Chicago, plus son Saint 3 and daughter North 5.5. And while they seem very excited for their new family member, Kim and Kanye have yet to prepare for the baby. Insider tells people. What does that mean? They don't have a nursery set up, but Kim plans on having a baby shower for number 4 too. The source adds, they're looking forward to another baby. Man, these people are so bad at writing. They use the word baby like 3 times in 2 sentences. Interesting. While her first 2 pregnancies resulted in healthy babies, Kardashian West endured a life-threatening condition during childbirth called placenta accreta. I don't know. Which led to her turn to surrogacy for her 3rd child and 4th on the way. That makes sense. Also known as retained placenta accreta occurs when part or all of the placenta remains connected to the uterine wall after... We don't need the details on that. There was a problem, okay? Don't get gross with it. It's very strange that we live in a world where 2 kind of crazy celebrities, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, got married and stayed together at all, like for more than 2 months. And then they're on their 4th baby. That is very, very strange. But cool. Good on them. And best of luck to them. Speaking of Kanye West, some minor news. Kanye West is apparently scheduled to go on the Joe Rogan Experience soon. Joe Rogan's podcast, which should be very interesting. And I am very much looking forward to seeing how that goes down. Joe Rogan, I have my issues with him sometimes, but he can be very meat-headed, very, thick-headed and not listen to people, but a lot of the times if he's chill enough, if he's smoked enough weed, he'll sit back and just chill and give people the benefit of the doubt and listen to them. He kind of goes back and forth. That's kind of, I don't know, kind of what bothers me about him, because there have been some times where he'll have enough weed or alcohol or whatever in his system, and he will just go on a tirade against people like he did with Steven Crowder about weed, in fact, where he didn't really let him get a word in. He got pushy and arrogant. He has that tendency, I've noticed, at times to just get, I don't know, a little too alpha male and a little too pushy with it. But hopefully that's a good, enlightening conversation, because I am really curious to hear what Kanye West has to say. Joe's of course gonna ask him about his support of Donald Trump and why he did that to begin with, and why he got out of the political sphere entirely and all that. I mean, there's a lot of questions swirling around the Kanye Wests right now, and be interesting to see what comes out of that conversation. So when it happens, I will report on it here on the news, with or without Craig. That reminds me, we've joked before about, Craig not being here on the show, or Craig being here and us firing him because it's Craig. I mean, he's my brother and all, but if you guys want me to fire him, I mean, what more reason do you need than he didn't show up tonight? Let's just be honest. Who needs him? No, it does flow a lot smoother with at least one other person here to bounce ideas off of. So there's that. But if you do want Craig to be fired, just shoot me an email. Also, I don't have the phone number pulled up here. Oh well. Let me see if I can get the phone number pulled up here. Boom! There it is. All right. If you want me to fire Craig, or if you want to call in and leave a snarky voicemail for us to play on the show, you can do so at the number down below. It's 309-716-3818. So call in there, leave us a voicemail. It'll make the show more fun in the future, and it'll be a good time. You can be a part of the show. You can call in, say whatever you want. The more of a douchebag you want to be, the better. It's totally fine. So call in and especially call in and tell Craig how you feel about the fact that the first episode of the new year, he's at school. He's at school, learning how he can be a part of the system instead of being a part of the system is down. Anyway, again, 309-716-3818. It probably goes without saying that we're not going to be doing an after-party episode this week, because I can only rant at the wall for so long. So there's that. All right, let's move on. Let's jump over to a little bit of local news, local to my area, because this whole Google News thing, I've used it on my phone or like the news app and stuff like that, just scrolling through, seeing what's up. But apparently, if you go to the Google News page, which I have never done before tonight, actually, you can scroll down until you get to the local news. And if you look in there for Aledo, for my area, the top story: fire crews investigate Illinois city barn fire. A barn burnt down. That's the big headline. That's it. And then, a couple stories down. Fire destroys barn in West Rock Island County. So the local news is allegedly at least 2 barns caught on fire this week. That seemed to be really, really worth reporting on, so I want to throw that in there. I'm going to open up the show more for local and see if we can find any more barn fires. Not seeing any. So, still, 2. That's like a conspiracy. That's makes me a little bit concerned that they're coming for me. If you look, the barn would be over there or over there. They're like triangulating. I'm gonna get real conspiratorial here and assume that it's government drones bombing these barns as warning shots for me. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but who knows? All right, moving right along. Let's see here. thesun.co.uk. So it's legit. Reports Mark Zuckerberg halts Facebook stock sale as value plummets over privacy scandals. All right. What do we got here? The controversial 34-year-old has seen his company fall from grace and failed to sell a single share in the last 3 months of 2018. That is impressive. Not a single share. Huh. Okay. Back in September 2017, Zuck promised to flog between 35 million and 75 million of his Facebook shares over 18 months. I don't even know what flog means, so there's that. Perhaps somebody smarter than me feels like chiming in. No? Okay. It was part of a promise to give away most of his fortune, which requires converting stocks to hard cash. Oh, that makes sense. Since then, he sold about 30.4 million shares worth roughly $5.6 billion. But Bloomberg says that the Facebook CEO has stopped selling shares after 2018 saw Facebook's worth plummet. In just a few days in December, Facebook's stock price slumped by nearly $10 billion. $10 billion after sealed court documents about the firm were released to the public. So, Facebook's not doing well. That's the long and the short of this ridiculously long article that I'm not going to read. Facebook's struggling, supposedly, to keep being relevant. And it's about freaking time. I'm going to take a drink here. Sorry, there's nobody to fill in the gaps. 1 second. It's about freaking time. I remember back in the days of, this is going to date me. I'm 30, okay? Shut up. I remember, like Zanga, and then there was MySpace and Friendster. There were these different things, different social networks, and none of them lasted nearly as long as Facebook is lasting. And it's high time, in my opinion, for us all to move on. This, amongst many other reasons, it's high time for us to find something that is better. I still think that MySpace in the MySpace days, when it was really booming, not now, it's terrible now, but back in those days, MySpace was the shit. With MySpace, you could customize everything. I mean, me as like a creator and a creative type, it was great because you could like customize your whole page. If you knew how to do just a small bit of design and HTML coding, you could basically make a website covering up your MySpace and show just the stuff that you wanted. And that was amazing. I actually made a decent amount of money selling MySpace designs back in the day. Now you can't make money selling a Facebook header. I mean, kind of, but it's just selling the design. It's not like a web design or anything. But I miss MySpace. I guess that's what I'm saying. And I've been a little bit bitter ever since MySpace totally collapsed. And I actually went back and revisited MySpace a few months back, and it is sadly bad. It is not user-friendly at all. And I tried signing up for an account just to see what it was and if it was worth like maybe getting a System is Down MySpace account just as kind of a little trolly joke. But I went to sign up for it, and it sends the confirmation email. It said, go confirm in your email that this is you signing up for this. And I went to find the confirmation email, and it went directly to spam. Not even promotions or social tab or anything like that in Gmail. It went directly to spam, which means that even Google's like, you got to be shitting me. You're not trying that, are you? Can't be real. We haven't seen one of these emails in decades. But I am fine with Facebook taking a tumble. It still has its value. If it wasn't for the forum and for my business, I would be off of Facebook right now because I barely use the main Facebook world garbage. I kind of stay in the zones where I know that there are people there that I want to talk to. And I rarely bother to post or venture too much outside of that because it's like RoboCop's Detroit. It's just there's graffiti everywhere. It's just disgusting. Anyway, that's my tirade on Facebook. All right, so you know what? Let's go ahead and take a short break because I still have to thank everybody in the Downers Club. If you would like to have your name on this list that is scrolling, if you're listening to this in audio format, this doesn't make any sense. But if you're watching this, as I know some of you are, you can have your name on this scrolly list. These are all the people that support the show with their hard-earned and much-appreciated dollars, and it is what helps keep this show getting bigger and better, more beautiful, more consistent, even when Craig doesn't show up. But even during the holiday season, we make sure that you get stuff. And anybody who is in the Downers Club also gets weekly bonus audio and video episodes multiple times a week, every single week, and our whole backlog of bonus audio and video content too. And they get their name read or their name listed on this list. So check out this list. Let's all take a short break and listen to some fun voices and Alex Jones screaming, if you're listening to this in audio format, and looking at some people who are, generous enough to help keep the show going. All right, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brett Glyer from Donorcy, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hi, this is Ole Damgood from Light on Conspiracies, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hey, this is Brian McWilliams from Electric Liberty Land on the Lines of Liberty. You're watching AntiNews Live along with my lazy dog Hank here, who diarrheaed all over that couch. That's why that blanket's there. Enjoy!
And now it's time for that part of the show where we give a big thank you and a shout out to all the beautiful men and women who support this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. We could not do this without you. If you would like to increase the value of your life and get your name on this list, just go to patreon.com/thesystemisdown and join the Downers Club.
I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating and getting pissed, because I can't handle it anymore.
Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews. Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lucas from the 29 Toes podcast, and you're watching the AntiNews Live. Fun fact, do you know anything that you drink out of this mug tastes 50% better? You should give it a try. Enjoy the show.
All right. He is absolutely correct. Anything that you drink out of a System is Down or AntiNews coffee mug does taste at least 50% better. That is Lucas Riley from the 29 Toes podcast. So, where was I? Other things happening in the world. Let's see what they are. Oh, let's just jump on over. Actually, jump again to the Sun. thesun.co.uk, so you know it's still legit. Here's some more interesting things. I've got a few more for you tonight, or today, whenever you're listening to this, but there's some crazy stuff going on, and this one was some very strange news to me, too. I've only read the first couple sentences of it, but okay, so here's the headline. It's "Watch Out, Black Mirror. Bandersnatch could be sinister Netflix ploy to steal thoughts." Thank you, The Sun. Sounds like this is going to be right up our alley. Okay. Whew. The Black Mirror episode lets viewers choose their own path through the story using on-screen options, but experts warn that it makes a dangerous future of surveillance. I've been wondering how long it would take this to happen with something like Netflix. Because with Netflix, I was watching The Last Jedi recently, and they had, after you get through like a really cool scene, it has a thing I noticed that pops up at the end of it that's like, rewatch that scene. So it's like a kick-ass scene, jump back to it, just little options that pop up. I've been wondering, actually, I had this thought a while back, how long is it going to be before you can kind of interact with the shows and choose how things play out. Kind of like a video game, but just a laid back and sit there and watch video game. So, let's see here. Charlie Booker's latest dystopian TV Wheeze is a choose-your-own-adventure story played using a remote control, but experts are now warning that this gives Netflix a wealth of data on the personal choices you make. Netflix hasn't revealed exactly what it'll do with this data, but the company does offer up data to marketers and advertisers and government organizations when asked. Netflix is bound by privacy laws, especially when dealing with European subjects, Adam Brown, a cybersecurity expert at Synopsys, told The Sun. Quote, the same laws do have exceptions. Sorry, my brain is not functioning as is the norm. For example, law enforcement agencies can, of course, legally access the data. For instance, that's the end of that quote. For instance, imagine if you were charged with committing a violent crime. The police could request Netflix data showing what decisions you made when watching TV shows. For instance, Bandersnatch gives you the option to kill certain characters in very brutal, gory ways. Data suggesting you choose violent actions during a viewing session could potentially count against you. Choices could reveal aspects of a viewer's psyche to law enforcement agencies, Brown explained, but he added that your personality could be revealed by regular TV choices too, outside of choose-your-own-adventure stories, of course. Of course. When combined with other data, this could mean bad things for your privacy, as one expert explains. Quote, your smart TV, game console, and AI assistant might know what you're watching, hear all the comments you're making, and even know which part of the screen you were looking at when you said that or made that expression, said Dr. Ian Pearson, a professional futurist speaking to The Sun. Quote, your fitness band, meanwhile, is measuring your excitement level via your heart rate. So the data will go much deeper and more personal than choosing a storyline. Holy crap. Holy crap. The data could then be accessed by governments or big money advertisers. Dr. Pearson explained, quote, while much of the date gathered? Sorry, The Sun found a typo. While much of the date gathered about you is of low value, just form filling and clicking that might not give true indications about you, your intimate behaviors and choices when watching a program alone could reveal much more accurate and detailed data about you. All of that could be available to any company willing to pay or any government official with the right to access it. So this is very, very interesting and a little bit frightening. I don't necessarily see it as a big issue yet, but I see where they're going with this. If somebody really wants to get all the data on you, it's not hard anymore. They can know who you talked to. They can know what you said, what you thought. Google can basically predict your every action. And I've never thought about the heart rate monitor thing. That's interesting. So they can, they can tell if you're a racist. They could call you a racist because your heart rate goes up when you. I mean, that's how they determined that a lot of these cops were racists. They give them this test where they check their heart rate when responding to people of a certain color. But I don't necessarily think that proves that they're racist. But, I mean, think of all the possibilities that they could go with this. I do think, I hadn't heard about this episode, the Choose Your Own Adventure thing. I think it's very interesting. I don't think it's that much of a real issue as far as the data collection, because, I mean, if you've been watching, like, Dexter or Breaking Bad or something, those are all on there. Those are perfectly acceptable to watch. So what difference does it make if you chose to kill somebody or you watched something where you know everybody's going to be dying the whole time or drugs are going to be being passed or whatever? I mean, if it's going to happen, it's not going to take an interactive viewing process for them to get that data. I mean, they can look at, did he play Grand Theft Auto? He must be a murderer. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't see this as big of an issue as they're kind of making it out to be. I'm not thrilled about the idea of the government buying any of my information. I'm not. And that is the price of convenience. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I would love to not be on Facebook. I would love to not have an iPhone. I would love to not all those things, but, you know, that's the price we pay, and we will continue to just trust that it's fine, until something goes down. Until then, here we are. Also, I'm broadcasting all this to YouTube, so there's not too many secrets here that couldn't be used against me. Anyway, there's that. What do you think? What do you think about that? If you want to be my co-host, if you want to, chime in, let me know what you think. Again, you can do so by calling into the show. You can call in at the number at the bottom of the screen, or if you're listening, it's 309-716-3818 and leave a message. Or you can come talk to me directly in the System is Down forum by going to tsidpod.com/forum and jumping in there. That's where all of the people who listen to the show go and mingle and discuss the things that we talk about on the show and things that we should talk about on the show. I'm in there. Come talk to me. A whole bunch of fun people are in there, so check that out. Anyway, what else do we got? Keeping along with surveillance and whatnot, let's jump over to nextgov.com. The FBI is trying... nextgov.com. So you know it's legit. The FBI is trying Amazon's facial recognition software. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Surprised it took this long. That's the only thing I'm surprised about. All right, this is, as of today, January 3rd. The software allows the FBI to go through video surveillance footage much faster than agents can. No shit. Of course. Of course it can. The FBI is... Sorry, I can't see. That's too far away. 1 second. The FBI is piloting Amazon's facial matching software, Amazon Recognition, REKOGNITION, that's an interesting way to spell it, as a means to sift through mountains of video surveillance footage the agency routinely collects during investigations. The pilot kicked off in early 2018 following a string of high-profile counterterrorism investigations that tested the limits of the FBI's technology capabilities, according to FBI officials. For example, in the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas carried out by Stephen Paddock, supposedly, the law enforcement agency collected a petabyte worth of data, much of it video from cell phones and surveillance cameras. Yeah. Quote, we had agents and analysts, 8 per shift, working 24/7 for 3 weeks, going through the video footage of everywhere Stephen Paddock was the month leading up to him coming and doing the shooting, said FBI Deputy Assistant Director for Counterterrorism Christine Halverson. Halverson made those remarks in November at the Amazon Web Services in reInvent conference in Las Vegas, where she described how the FBI is using Amazon's cloud platforms to carry out counterterrorism investigations. She said Amazon Recognition could have gone through the same trove of data from the Las Vegas shooting in 24 hours, or 3 weeks faster than it took human FBI agents to find every instance of Paddock's face in the mountain of video. Think about that, Halverson said, noting that technology like Amazon Recognition frees up FBI agents and analysts to apply their skills to other aspects of the investigation or other cases. The case doesn't stop. The threats keep going, Halverson said. Being able to not pull people off that and have computers do it is very important. So many issues here, so many problems with this. I do have. It's so basically what they're saying is, if we had this, the way we have it now, we have the ability to survey everything that some terrorist or potential terrorist or alleged supposed possibly not terrorist does. We are watching them all the time, but it takes us way too long to comb through the footage and find out where they went. I don't like the fact that we're watching everything to begin with, let alone the idea that we're going to speed up the process of following people around. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. This is some Orwellian shit right here. Not only do we have Big Brother, but we have Big Brother that doesn't even have to be. It's Big Brother robots. This is like Orwellian Matrix shit right here, where robots are going to be the ones watching us 100% of the time. That's definitely where this is going. Which at what point is it just easier to take down all the cameras? Don't worry about the cameras. Get in here, get your little chip put in. Get your chip put in so that you don't have to carry around a cell phone to have entertainment all the time. You can have entertainment streamed straight into your brain. And don't worry, we do know where you are at all times, but we're not worried about it as long as you're not a quote-unquote terrorist. However, if we decide it would be convenient to label you a terrorist, it will be very easy for us to take care of business. That's what you guys tuned in for if this is your first time. That's how my brain works. So that's interesting. That along with, the last article that I read. Anyway, gotta move on. Can't think about that too much. But I think the writing is on the wall. We are technology is progressing so rapidly that we are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from 100% constant surveillance and zero privacy, and I don't like it. I do not like it, he said to the internet. Yes, I know, I put all my shit out on the internet, but that doesn't mean I'm down for being watched when I'm sleeping or having sex with my wife. Some people might be into that, but I'm not the exhibitionist type. Anyway, I forgot another local news story. This comes from WQAD, News Channel 8, local. Power restored to thousands in Mercer County. I live in Mercer County. I probably shouldn't keep saying where I live after I talk about all the paranoia that I have. But update, power has been restored. This is a news headline because our entire county lost power for about 15 minutes. Let me see. The outage was reported around 1:35 p.m. According to the energy company's website, power was expected to be back on around 4 p.m. There was no word on what caused the outages. It was not that long. It did not take hours. It did not even take an hour. It did not even take a half hour. I think it was maybe 20 minutes tops. But just goes to show you that I am being surveilled and I am being watched, and sneaky. Thankfully, I didn't have anything to do pertaining to this podcast at that point in time, so it didn't really matter. What happened was I was in the middle of writing this big long email, and it went down, and So I got on my phone and finished writing the email, sent it, then the power came back on. My wife and I had the conversation through text at that point. We were like, it's always fun when there's like, some people just like to watch the world burn. It's always fun when the power goes down and everybody's freaking out. We literally had the conversation of, let's just go get some lawn chairs and go out to Walmart, set them up, just watch the pandemonium as people scramble for the last loaf of bread before the power comes back on in 15 minutes. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky animals, and you know it. As Tommy Lee Jones did say. Agent J or K? I don't know. Men in Black. Whatever. So there's that. They cannot stop me. So have you guys heard about Louis C.K.? This is what we're going to end on. This is the last big story. This is actually the main story that I wanted to cover because it's the most interesting to me. And hey, we're like pushing regular show length at this point, so good deal. You're welcome. We will definitely hit that 1 hour goal, I believe, if I am able to rant into the night. So, Louis C.K. comes out back on stage. Long and the short of it is, if you guys weren't aware, this guy, I love Louis C.K. I'm just going to put it out there. He's been one of my favorite comedians for a very long time, so maybe I'm biased. I don't know. But he got into trouble for jerking it in front of some women that he asked if he could jerk it in front of, and supposedly that's a power trip move. I don't know. I don't support doing that in any form or fashion, but if he has to... If he's asking and they're saying yes and he's doing, who cares? That has nothing to do with his comedy. I've always loved his comedy. I still love his comedy. But he's been, he lost millions of dollars immediately when word came out about his sexual deviancy. Again, gross. Don't condone it, but it wasn't like he Harvey Weinstein or anything. He wasn't raping people. I don't know. At least to my knowledge, he wasn't. If he was, then screw him. But I love his comedy, and he just re-emerged back onto the scene, just doing a little set at a I don't remember which club it was. Pretty well known one, but not like a big amphitheater or anything. It wasn't like a special or anything like that. So he goes up. He does his bits, does his routine, and of course, every single eye locked on, every single ear locked on, I should say, because it only leaked out in audio form. Somebody that was in the audience did record the audio of the set and leaked it, and it was. I found it to be funny. It's not his best work. I found it to be funny. I haven't listened to the whole thing. I listened to about half, but I listened to, of course, the parts that everybody were outraged about. He poking fun at the Parkland shooter kids, and poking fun at maybe transgenders, and poking fun at I can just play the bit for you here so that I don't slaughter, trying to explain Louis C.K. So here's the bit. If you're offended by it, don't care. We're going to talk about it after. Here it goes.
I'm a little disappointed in the younger generation, honestly, because I'm 51 years old, and when I was like 18 to my 20s, we were idiots. We were getting high, doing fucking mushrooms and shit, and then older people were like, you gotta get your shit together, and we were like, yeah, fuck you! And I was kind of excited to be in my 50s and see people in their 20s and be like, they're crazy. These kids are nuts, but they're not. They're fucking, they're just boring. Fucking telling them, you shouldn't say that. What are you, an old lady? What the fuck are you doing? It's not appropriate. Fuck you, you're a child. Why are you finger fucking each other and doing jello shots? Like, why aren't you... You should address me. They're like royalty. They tell you what to call them. Fuck them. You should address me as they, them. Because I identify as gender neutral. Oh, okay. Okay. You should address me as there. Because I identify as a location. And the location is your mother's cunt. It doesn't have to be that nasty. But it can be. I don't know, they testify in front of Congress, these kids? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You're young, you should be crazy. You should be unhinged. Not in a suit saying, I'm here to tell, fuck you. You're not interesting. Because you went to a high school where kids got shot? Why does that mean I have to listen to you? How does that make you interesting? You didn't get shot, you pushed some fat kid in the way, and then now I gotta listen to you talking?
So, that's the bit. I again, it's not like his most funny work, but if you're taking offense to that, please explain. Please explain to me the difference between that and what Louis C.K. always did before. All eyes are on him now because of his quote-unquote deviancy and the scandal, the absolute scandal of touching oneself in a private room after inquiring that one watch you touch yourself. I don't know. But I think it's great. As I've said, as we've talked about on the show many times before, the problem with the whole politically incorrect culture is that nobody is allowed to make a joke. What do you think comedy is? Comedy is supposed to be pushing the system. It's supposed to be poking fun at, I mean, back in the day of, like medieval times, the jester was the person who could make fun of the king without getting his head chopped off. He was the one person who could do it. That's the point of comedy. It's to poke fun at the most sacred things, and he's not making fun of the kids who died in the Parkland shooting. He's making fun of the kids who are taking their life so seriously and everybody else who's taking their opinion as gold just because they were in the wrong place the right place at the wrong time. I mean, they weren't in the wrong place at the wrong time, otherwise they'd be dead. But he's absolutely right. Just because you were there, just because that happened, doesn't mean that your opinion on gun control or on legislation is any more valid than the next person. Just like if I watch somebody get run over in the street by a car, having nothing to do with me, if that person got run over in the street and I witnessed it, that doesn't give me any more authority to speak on criminalizing automobiles. I'm not going to go out and plead to Congress to criminalize automobiles. And maybe I have a good case. Maybe I don't. But the thing that I witnessed does not make my point any more valid just because I went through some trauma. Either you have a good point or you don't. So, I mean, most importantly, I love the fact that he's not bowing. He's not giving in. And he could so easily give in just like everybody else is doing. Even frickin' Norm Macdonald is giving in. When he gets called out for saying the wrong word, he's got to come on and apologize. I mean, everything should be allowed in comedy. That's the point of comedy. Is if you are a comedian and there's not somebody out there offended, then you're probably doing it wrong. It just is what it is. And I mean, Louis C.K. has always been a bit of a grotesque, offensive, dark comic. That's why I really enjoy him, because it pushes your comfort zone. It pushes you out of that box and makes you think about some things and laugh at some horrible things. And take things, I mean, that's how we work through tragedy. We laugh at it. We are able to get through it that way. And, he's right. He's just right. He is. It's not new. It's not new for him. And if it wasn't for all the backlash about the other stuff, if he had said this, and he never had the case of the sexual stuff, the weird stuff, then I don't think people would care as much as they do now. But because of that, everybody's going to be watching him. So I think that it's great that he did not give in. He didn't come out and play it safe. He didn't come out and just water down his typical offensive routine just because he got some pushback for some things that he did. He came out, even right at the beginning of the episode, he talks about the shit that he went through and is still going through. And this isn't going to help him in the eyes of many people. This is not going to make him look better because he didn't come out and just glom, I'm so sorry for the thing that I am. He came out, made fun of himself like he always does, and then made fun of everybody else right along with him. That's his comedy. And that's why Louis C.K. is a good comic. And I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of it. Of course, everybody's chiming in. Along with this note, this is another headline from HuffPo, so you know it's legit. Pete Davidson, good old Pete Davidson, reveals Louis C.K. had major problems with him at Saturday Night Live. Amid all the fury surrounding Louis C.K.'s recently leaked stand-up set. Yep, all the outrage. All the outrage. You hear everybody's outraged. We're supposed to be. Pete Davidson is using some of his old interactions with the comic in his new material. During a stand-up set in Boston on New Year's Eve, the 25-year-old recounted the time Louis C.K. hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live. Davidson said the now disgraced comic, he doesn't sound that disgraced, and he shouldn't be. Define disgraced exactly. If he's willing to move on from it, good on him. But the now disgraced comic, quote, told all the producers in front of me that all this kid does is smoke weed, and he's going to smoke his career away, according to US Weekly. Ha! Surprise. Newsflash. Pete Davidson. Really? You were offended by that? You were offended that he said that you smoke weed? First off, if you think that it's fine to smoke weed, then don't have a problem with people saying you smoke weed. And there isn't a single person who watches SNL that thinks that Pete Davidson doesn't smoke weed. They even joke about it on SNL. So who cares if he said you smoked weed, buddy? It sounds like he was making a joke. I can't imagine Louis C.K. walked in and said, "This young man is throwing his life away." That doesn't really sound like a Louis C.K. thing to do to me, but who knows? Sounds more like he walked in and he was like, "Look at this guy. he's smoking his career away." Really, I have a really hard time thinking that Pete Davidson took him seriously at that time, but he's going to use it out of context to bash Louis C.K. because of what Louis C.K. said. To get him this news story. Louis C.K. then took things up a notch, telling SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels that Davidson smokes so much weed that it makes people uncomfortable. Okay, so maybe he wasn't joking. Maybe you do smoke too much weed. Maybe you smoke so much weed it makes people uncomfortable. And... okay, so then, of course, Pete Davidson said, then 5 years later, this motherfucker's been locking doors and jerking off in front of people. Davidson joked with the crowd, referencing Louis C.K.'s admitted sexual misconduct, which included masturbating in front of younger female comedians and abusing his professional influence. Abusing his professional influence. If you didn't want to be there, you could have left. Again, I wasn't there. If he was like literally locking the door and not letting them leave, then fuck this guy. But I don't have any evidence to support that. And as far as I know, people aren't really claiming that. Could be wrong. I'm not real news. Continuing on, the SNL cast member also joked about getting a tattoo of the comedian, citing stories about tattoos he has of other famous people. Quote, "I got a Harry Potter tattoo. Then the next day, Alan Rickman, the guy who played Snape, died. And I was like, oh, what a weird coincidence, Davidson said, as reported by E! News. You can see where this is going. Then I got a Willy Wonka tattoo. The next day, Gene Wilder dies. Now I'm like, all right, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. That's weird. So I'm thinking of getting a tattoo of Louis C.K. What do you guys think? Ha 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 ha. I mean, people are just getting so freaking lazy with this type of thing. I mean, compare what Louis C.K. said and how much balls Louis C.K. had to come out and say that, to say things that he knows is going to give him even more pushback, but he doesn't have anything to lose now, so he's just doing what needs to be done. He's pushing the anti-PC agenda, or he's pushing the PC agenda. Think of how much more balls it took for Louis C.K. to come out and say, what are these kids that are, hiding behind fat kids during school shootings now? It's a funny joke. How much balls did that take compared to, isn't Louis C.K. a bad guy? Don't you wish Louis C.K. was dead? It's very similar to, what's his name? De Niro coming out and saying fuck Trump to thunderous applause. Anyway, continuing on. Louis C.K. faced significant backlash after sexually explicit footage surfaced on Sunday showing the comic mocking survivors at the Parkland school shooting, people who are disabled and transgender as well as people of color. Sexually explicit footage. That makes it sound like he was masturbating on stage while making these jokes, which, I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised. But no, I mean, they say sexually explicit footage while mocking all these people, blah, blah, blah. That's what jokes are. Quote, my life is over. I don't give a shit. You can be offended. It's okay. You can get mad at me, the comedian said during a December 16th set at the Governor's Comedy Club in Long Island that recently surfaced on YouTube. Anyway, so why, quote, this is just talking about comparing penis sizes of black men and Asian men, and it's really not even a funny joke. It is sexually explicit. It's not even worth talking about. I have spent my long and lucky career talking and saying anything I want. I will now step back and take a long time to listen, he wrote at the time. So that was back in 2017, November. It's unclear what a long time means to the comedian, as he recently performed a number of sets, including performances at New York Comedy Cellar in August and October 2018. A long time? Yes, he took a long time. Louis C.K. used to put out at least, he put out a lot of times a new full special every single year, and he was doing multiple TV shows. He was doing the Louis show. I think it was just called Louis, and he did another very strange show that he did with dude who plays Hawkeye from MASH. I don't remember his name, and a couple other people. Steve Buscemi, who was in it. So he did shit all the freaking time. Yeah, him taking a year and a year and a month or two off is a long freaking time for him to step back and listen. He stepped back, he listened, and he heard people just caving in under the pressure of the PC culture. And he said, no, what's the point? I don't have anything to lose. Why not get back out there and be funny? Be what comedy is supposed to be. Be risky. I mean, towards the end of his, really booming career, Louis C.K. was kind of getting less risky anyway. So, I mean, whether you agree with him or not on any of these things, I listen to comedians all the time that I disagree with on things. That's the point. The point is for it to challenge you and to offend you. If they're good. So, I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's great that I don't even necessarily condone what he says, but I condone his right to say it. And think that he should be saying it. He should be poking fun at things that people say you can't poke fun at this. That's what Anthony Jeselnik does. That's what all these offensive comedians do. That's their job. If he didn't come out and do that, he wouldn't be doing his job. If he didn't make you uncomfortable, he wouldn't be doing his job, and he shouldn't get paid for doing his job. So if you're offended, good. Job well done. Did you laugh? Probably did. And it wasn't a special, so if you didn't laugh, maybe you just had to be there. Because I'm sure he's testing out some new material. I hope that he sticks to it. Because he will have an audience follow this. He will have an audience stick with him as he pushes back against the current culture. They will. I will. I will be much more likely to follow him than I would be if he came out and was just giving in, just watering down shit and not being offensive. That's not why I listen to Louis C.K., so I wouldn't be as likely to listen to it. Hopefully he sticks to it. Hopefully he doesn't disappear again. And yeah, good. Good for you. Make people uncomfortable. All right. I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Let's see. Anything else here? I don't think so. So you guys got your full hour episode of AntiNews. Who knew that I could ramble on solo for this long? I didn't, and I'm kind of tired of listening to myself, and I'm sure you are too, so I'm going to peace out of here. But before I do that, gotta let you guys know once again, if you would like to get all the bonus content for the show that we release every single week, we do a whole bunch of stuff. We do Would You Rather Wednesday, which just made a return, where we play a horrifying game, very offensive game of Would You Rather with Remso Martinez. We do extended interviews with a lot of our guests for Monday morning, which this week's episode is going to be a really fascinating one. You're definitely not going to want to miss that episode and the bonus episode, because the bonus episode gets all sorts of fun and uncomfortable. We also do the after parties for the AntiNews, where Craig and I, when we do this, we typically do an extended 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half of extra ranting about things that are going on in the world, which is a lot easier to do when I have somebody here to fill in the gaps. So you don't just hear my mouth noises all the time, hear me swallowing and that type of thing. But, and we also do Rotten Potato movie and TV reviews in the bonus content. So all that stuff. It's a big cluster of fun, sometimes offensive and horrifying content. So get over there and help keep the show going and growing into a brand new year of 2019. Patreon.com/The System Is Down. You can sign up for as little as a cup of coffee per month. You do it, you will not regret it. You won't even notice that it's missing. But you will notice all of the wonderful audio content and video content that you get in your email inbox every single week. So go check that out at patreon.com/The System Is Down. And once again, be sure to call into the show, leave us a voicemail. Let me know if you enjoyed tonight. Let me know if you want Craig back next week. Let me know if you want me to fire Craig, because at this point, I think that we've proven that he's dead weight. So call into 309-716-3818 and leave us a nice, happy voicemail, and we'll play it on the air for you. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, or viewing, or whatever, what have you. I love you guys, and you're great. You're great. Keep spreading the show around. Keep sharing it, and let's continue to change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. So go give the show to somebody this week, be it the AntiNews or be it the Monday morning episode, and, let's build this thing. Let's do this together. All right. Until next time, guys, be bad, have fun, question everything, stand comfortable, all the things, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.
So here's my pledge to you. I will be a commander-in-chief that will have the back of the military. I won't trash talk. I won't be a divider-in-chief or an agitator-in-chief. I won't be out there blowharding, talking a big game without backing it up. I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country, to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.